the PR industry should have embraced the internet and given it a giant hug and a slobbery kiss. And I don't think we did as an industry as fast as the advertising industry did. I think that certain companies, including Edelman, did, but others, I think the industry was slow to adapt, and I think they're still slow to adapt to it. So the history, I mean, well, PR as an industry is over 100 years old, and Edelman is over, I think, let's see, 1952, so we're 57 years old, I think the history was, at first, was pay attention to it, but I think that we did a lot of work to generate media results online, and that was effective for our clients. But I think the clients always seem to, and even to this day, seem to value more the tangible results, the placement on the Today Show, the article in the New York Times. They seem to value that, and over time, I think the PR industry kind of had a move, kind of kept lock and step with usage patterns in terms of its adoption. But I think that the advertising industry, though, was fast to embrace things like search, which they were all over on it. And I think the PR industry missed search. And I think we can get it back, but I do think we were slow to embrace it. Media reforestation is a democratizer. I mean, anybody can get involved at any level that they want and be effective. I mean, you could get involved as an individual, as many of us have shown, and become, use it as a very effective vehicle for your company, your cause, your need. In terms of where to get started, I think you have to first and foremost figure out where people are talking about the topics that you have a passion for, and that you could contribute to and can be relevant in. Now, anybody can be relevant in any discussion, but I mean relevant in a way where people are going to want to hear what you're saying. And so I think that you need to begin to do that. And the way to, if you have resources, one way to do that is to research. And you can use a big research company to kind of figure out where your audience is and what they're talking about, and begin to figure out how you get into that conversation. If you're an individual, I think you just dabble and you begin to explore, and you see what's happening in different communities, whether it be Facebook or Twitter or MySpace or YouTube, etc. And then once you've but I think that's the first step, is just research. And then after that, you'll kind of know where the conversation is. But I think we have to keep in mind that these sites come and go. No single community site, has ever had staying power more than 5 years. They just seem to come and go, and especially in the consumer space. So while today I can't go to a meeting without talking about Twitter and Facebook, I think we need to keep in mind that 3 years ago, or actually more like 2 years ago, I couldn't go to a meeting without talking about Second Life, and I now kind of equate Second Life as being digital marketing's Vietnam. So we need to just kind of remember that things change, but I think for the first step is research always. You have to look at the money that's in TV. It's huge. And even now in the recession, it's huge. I mean, it's billions. And that's like, I look at that almost like a giant ice shelf that is just slowly melting. And maybe this is not the right analogy, but that's like Antarctica melting, or Greenland melting. And all that water is going to look for a home. So you have these billions of dollars in money, and marketers are not necessarily going to know where to spend it, and they're going to look for what works. Well, the problem is that as TV advertising erodes, obviously the options in digital are there's a multitude of options there. The cost of engaging in those options compared to TV is a fraction of the cost, but the measurement and the ways of quantifying success in digital vary depending on the tactic and who you talk to. And whereas TV, we kind of know what success is. We can measure it in gross ratings points, or we can measure it in Nielsen ratings. We can't as easily with digital, because there's different ways of engaging, and those numbers are actually getting smaller. So TV is a mass reach vehicle, even with the number of stations that we have, in thousands of stations, at least nationally. But when you get down into the to digital, it's we're taking a pie and it's like eating a pizza that comes with 32,000 slices. I mean, it's like, so how do you I think the metrics and the way we think about that are going to be a challenge for marketers as the money shifts. At the same time, I think the money shifting is going to force TV to innovate faster. This is kind of what Seth Godin's been talking about for years with permission marketing, and or pull. You wanna be there when people open the door, and it's going to be hard to push things through that door when people don't want them. So I agree, although I think that it's not quite so black and white. Advertising still does a wonderful job of creating demand, and then but the question is, does people, what's known is that people don't want to be interrupted, and I don't care if they're on social networks, they don't want to be interrupted there. When they're watching TV, they don't want to be interrupted, and obviously TiVo is shown as a market for that. iTunes is shown as a market for that, and so the whole notion of interruptive marketing is being challenged right now, and I think that it's about relevance. It's about being relevant to the right people in the right place at the right time, and then I think it will be wanted if it's informative. And that's why I'm bullish for the prospects of the public relations industry, because I think that what we do is we either create content or we generate content that is relevant to what people are interested in, because we know the public and their wants and their needs, and we're either doing this directly increasingly, or we're doing it through media partners who also are going to act as a BS detector and be able to really wade through all this stuff in a credible way. And I don't care if that's a blogger or if that's a journalist. And so, but I think that the way of doing things is definitely changing. I think that one thing that the PR industry is not focused on right now, that we got to get focused on in a hurry, is the intersection between search and PR. And so Google isn't just a search engine. Google is media. And so every single day, people are making decisions. Talk about permission marketing and pull, based on what they find in Google, based on a long tail of searches that they put into the search engine, mostly around problems, not around solutions. So what I like to say is people Google if they have a headache, not that they need aspirin. They Google that they have roaches, not that they need Raid. And increasingly, the search engines, all of them, I mean, Microsoft's going to come out with a new search engine this week, it sounds like, are favoring quality content. And that content can come from brands, media, or individuals. And less so, and they've done a good job of eliminating spam out of the search engines. They've done a good job of making sure that the black hat SEO folks don't work. And they're favoring quality content that has generated a lot of social connectivity and links from other like sources. And so as a result, I think that PR professionals need to start to think about search engines as a media platform. And that means that the content that we create and the content that we generate needs to take search into account and apply it. And I also think it's a very good way for us to measure our value to clients. And that's just I don't think that people are talking about that, because search is an old technology and people kind of want to chase the hot new stuff. But search to me is pivotal. And as the semantic web comes in, it's going to get even bigger.